Today, we're going to give you some late round guys that we think you should be drafting in your best ball leagues, guys that are essentially flyers at their price point. So be looking out for these guys. We're going to give you why they have some good upside, why they have good ceiling, and why you should be selecting them in these drafts. Do us a huge favor. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Really trying. So make sure you are subscribed if you are watching this video. Please make sure you're subscribed. And also make sure you hit like on the video. It really helps the algorithm, helps us reach more people, helps more people know that fantasy domain exists. So
it does exist.
So make sure you like the video.
Yeah. So we're going to start here with Brandon Cooks being our first sleeper wide receiver here. And I think this guy, as he gets older, is just continually underrated as a fantasy asset, and he continually surprises people, which, why is it a surprise that Brandon Cooks is a good wide receiver? I mean, he's done it for like dang near a decade.
Let him cook.
And let him cook. So when you're looking at the new situation he's going into, it's such a better situation than what he was dealing with in Houston for a while. And now he has an actual quarterback who, we're not the biggest fans of, but definitely a step up for sure. 73.1% catchable pass rate for Dak Prescott last season on dang near 33 pass attempts per game. So there's plenty of volume to go around for Brandon Cooks, even with CeeDee Lamb, even with Michael Gallup and the, whatever tight ends they have there now. And you've got a 21% target share, in 2022 for Brandon Cooks in Houston, which was good for 117, which would be good for 117 targets this season when you put him in Dallas's offense. So that's a lot of volume, a lot of opportunity for really a wide receiver too. That's going at wide receiver 43 on Underdog. I'm a fan of the upside there for sure. The target share, if you want to break this down, you're like, hey, I still don't think there's enough volume. Well, we can break it down for you. CD 28.7%, Dalton Schultz, who's gone, 18.7%, Noah Brown 14.1%, and he's also gone. You've got 38.5% target share left when you include Schultz and Noah Brown, who are now gone. So there's a ton of target share that's just left in the open outside of CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, who doesn't really command targets. So that means there's a lot of upside, again, here for Brandon Cooks in this offense.
And it's not just the vacated targets. Like, vacated targets doesn't mean that a certain player is going to produce. Again, It's the Allen Lazard rule.
Target quality, too.
Well, not only that, but Brandon Cooks is a good wide receiver.
Yes, I know.
So this is a guy that's been a wide receiver one.
Yeah.
So let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. So really, if you extrapolate his numbers, which Simon did for us here, I mean, you could, guess 103 targets, 67 receptions based on the catchable target rate and whatnot, plus the volatility of touchdowns. I mean, you're ending up looking at easily a wide receiver 3 season, at least wide receiver 36 overall for Brandon Cooks. And I think that's being really conservative,
especially in the Cowboys offense.
Especially in the Cowboys offense, where they are going to, guys, I promise you, they're going to be passing it more than they have in previous seasons, because Zeke Elliott is gone and Tony Pollard, when you give him a large sample size of running, he's not going to be as efficient. So really like Brandon Cook's opportunity here. And I think in best ball formats for sure, like, this is a guy you want to be taking in late rounds, because at any point of the season, this guy could put up 20 plus points for you easily and win you a game, maybe win you a championship later in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. The next guy is going to be a running back, and that's going to be Damien Harris, who's going as the RB 37 on Underdog Fantasy. Keep in mind, most people are really running and just taking off and not looking back with the fact that James Cook will be the number one fantasy running back in Buffalo this year. And while we'd probably agree with that, we're like, but like not running away with it. We're like looking back to check on Damien Harris. And Damien Harris, I mean, in 36 active games since 2020, on an average of 41% snap share, 41%, he scored 11 points per game, which would have been RB 29 in 2022. Again, he's going as the RB 37.
And that's in Buffalo, where everyone knows how the Buffalo backfields work, where one week it's this guy, and then the next week it's the next. And if you look at Damien Harris in his game log, it would be 20 points, and then 4 the next week, and then 17, and then 3. And it's because
sounds like
Bill Belichick was switching out which guy was playing, and now he's going to get consistent snap share.
I mean, he's joining the Bills. Devin Singletary is vacating a 65% snap share from last year.
Nice.
So
that's
plenty of volume for Damien Harris to function in.
Yeah. And what people aren't realizing is that James Cook, I mean, he doesn't really offer the same skill set as Harris at all. He's a fine receiving back, but he's not going to be taking goal line carries. He's not going to be taking short yardage carries. I'm not worried about Damien Harris taking PPR points away from James Cook. I'm worried about the red zone. And I'm not even worried because I'm not taking James Cook. I'm taking Damien Harris later.
At RB 37.
At RB 37, which is essentially for free. free is good because no money's cost. So he easily has RB2 potential in him. 36% of his games since 2022 have been RB2 finishes, and another 11% have been RB1 finishes. So when you're looking at Damien Harris, the situation, obviously, you want running backs in good offenses when you're drafting running backs. This is a good example of that. This is somebody who's produced before. This is somebody that is going onto a team that has lots of vacated volume in the rushing game, and he's going on a team where he can complement very well a receiver that is going to be on the field for passing downs in James Cook. So when you're talking about Damien Harris, when you're looking at his price, when you're looking at his proven production, when you're looking at his situation, we think he's a very good late round flyer in fantasy leagues right now and in your best ball drafts. Next guy on this list is going to be
Cortland Sutton. Yeah, being drafted as wide receiver 48.
Explain.
He's dang near a wide receiver 5 right now. And last year, we were not high on Cortland Sutton. We were screaming, do not draft him, do not draft him. He's not the guy. Take Jerry Jeudy instead. Well, this year, the people are treating him like he's nobody. In his 49 active games since his rookie season, Cortland Sutton has had 19 top 24 finishes, 6 of which were wide receiver 1. So that means 12% of the time, he was a wide receiver 1. And when we're looking as wide receiver 48, we're looking for upside and someone who, in 10% of the games, he might give you 2 or 3 games this year where he finishes as a wide receiver 1. 11.4 points per game last year with only a 50% snap share. That is so good when you're getting him at wide receiver 48. Plus, the biggest thing that the three of us are looking at is Sean Payton. Sean Payton is now the offensive coordinator for the Broncos, and he knows how to use weapons. Cortland Sutton, throughout his career, has shown flashes. He is not a dominant wide receiver 1, and we will always believe that. But when you're looking at a new coach, a new system, and hopefully improvements in Russ's play, Cortland Sutton at wide receiver 48 is an absolutely incredible pick, and he's a smash. Next,
remember last year when he was going like wide receiver like we did not even meet in the middle. He is a wide receiver 1, and then he didn't do wide receiver 1 stuff, which it's Cortland Sutton, and now we're like he's dead.
Yeah,
we can absolutely be reasonable about this, guys.
His game log last year was actually pretty good when he did play too.
It was.
So
that was when.
That's what I was saying. When he played more than 50% of the snaps, he averaged 11.4 points per game, and that means, he has some serious upside. Next, we have Dawson Knox, and another guy.
It's pronounced Knox.
Yeah, is it really?
Yeah, like Knoxville.
Okay. Dawson Knox last year, it was someone that we were saying, again, don't draft him. He's not the guy. We could look at his target share, look at his usage in the Buffalo Bills offense, and see the signs. You could see the writing on the wall. Well, since 21, Dawson Knox has still had a tight end 1 finish in 43% of his games.
Is that good?
That's 13 games since 2021. And all of a sudden, he's going as tight end 2022 when he's flashing that upside, when he's showing that almost half the time he can finish as a tight end 1. I don't get it. Yes, they drafted Dalton Kincaid, but only 5 rookie tight ends since 2000 have averaged even over 50 yards per game. Only 5. Even beyond that, the guys being drafted in front of him. Well, let's go through them real quick. How many tight end 1s finishes have they had? Juwan Johnson being drafted as tight end 21, so directly in front of him. 20% of his games in the last 2 seasons have been a tight end 1 finish. Only 6 of them. Sam Laporta is a rookie. We just told you, rookie tight ends typically do not produce in the NFL in their first season. Taysom Hill. Now, this is a valid pick. Taysom Hill, since 2021, has had 11 tight end 1 finishes for 39%. Gerald Everett last year had almost all of his finishes out of his 11 on the Chargers with 35%. But Irv Smith, tight end 17, he has had 1 tight end 1 finish in the last 2 seasons. That's 12%.
Well, he can't stay healthy either.
You keep going up. You have guys like Greg Dulcich. You have Chig Okonkwo. You have, we don't get it. Why not take Dawson Knox when he's tight end 22? So this is just a late round flyer. Why not take him? And he's someone, when I'm missing out on one of the top tight ends, I'm taking Dalton Schultz and Dawson Knox, or Dalton Schultz and Taysom Hill. And he's just an absolutely great pick right here in the end of your best ball drafts, really. So, yeah.
For the sake of discussion, Nathan, are you taking Irv Smith or Dawson Knox? I'm curious.
Well, this is funny that you brought it up because actually almost this entire list I'm taking over Dawson Knox.
Me too.
Yeah.
When we're in a best ball league, I'm taking the guy who flashes the tight end 1 upside. When someone has made a tight end 1 finish in 12% of their games, why am I taking them when I have almost 50% chance with someone else?
And that's fair.
I don't care about them getting 8 every week. I care about the weeks that they give you 20.
That was when Dawson Knox was the only tight end in Buffalo, though. when you're looking at the situationally, now you've got Dalton Kincaid. And while I don't think Dalton Kincaid will produce at a level that's going to support your fantasy team this year, I do think it will have an impact on Dawson Knox fantasy production. So if you're talking about a 43% tight end one finish rate over the last couple of years before that, I would expect that to at least be cut in half now with Dalton Kincaid. And that would put him below the likes of Gerald Everett, who I actually would take over Dawson Knox because he's tied to Justin Herbert, number one. And I know Josh Allen is so, but he's the tight end one. And so to me, that's more attractive. I mean, when you're thinking about the tight end 22, there are 32 tight ends in the NFL that are starting. So you are still taking Dawson Knox. Even you're taking 2 Bills tight ends in the top 22 picks when there are actually 32 teams.
When there's guys going this low, it's because they have question marks. And I'm going to take the guy. Honestly, we'd all prefer Taysom Hill, right? And he's back with Sean Payton. But if we're looking at guys in the late round that you might scrape up some value, what if Dalton Kincaid is like Chigakonkwo and he only gets a 30% snap share next year? Then who's still getting the rest? Dawson Knox just last year was top 10 in his snap share. He stayed on the field, and that means he's going to get opportunities. And Kincaid is going to take away some of that. But I'm still willing to bet he's going to have several weeks where he gives you a couple touchdowns. Taysom Hill's back on the Broncos. He's on the Broncos now.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. He's on the Broncos now.
He's on the Saints.
He's on the Saints, dude.
I swear.
He's literally on
I
the
was
Saints.
like, did I
Is he not with
sleep
Sean Payton?
through that?
No, he's on the Saints. He's being used everywhere.
All right.
Like that one, that
yeah.
would be the closest one I think I agree with.
Yeah. Now Hayden
But
Hurst.
you have the boom potential. Like,
Yeah, and I understand.
I literally was like, did I miss that?
Irv Smith has not proven anything in his career.
Why is he tied in
hasn't.
17?
Well, because of Hayden Hurst last year, and Irv Smith's athletic upside is so much higher than Hayden Hurst. And
Yes.
Hayden Hurst had
It's because
5
he's with
tight
Joe
end 1
Burrow
weeks
now.
last year, and he's with Joe Burrow. And they used the tight end position significantly last year.
Irv Smith's a
with Hayden
talented dude. He
Hurst.
just has been injured and bad. I mean,
And
so
replaced by TJ Hawkinson.
again,
Like,
I don't really want to be taking Irv Smith as my tight end one, anyways. And,
No,
in
no.
all reality, I'm not wanting to take anybody.
you're not taking any of these as
Dawson
your tight
Knox,
end
what
one.
he is he's a tight end too. That's your best argument. Is that Dawson Knox as a tight end too will be really good in best ball leagues, because if he does have those
Yes.
weeks that he does boom and your main tight end either poops a bed or you have both of them, then that's supplementing the points of your team. Like that's probably why I would comfortably take him as an RB or as a tight end too. Sorry. Cool. All right. Yeah, those are 4 guys. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know who we miss, who your must-draft flyers are in these best ball, in these redraft drafts. So let us know that in the comments. Do us a huge favor. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's 1000. So make sure you subscribe and also make sure you have liked the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.